Here's what nobody tells you about wealth. The moment your income starts multiplying isn't random. It's not luck. It's not timing. It follows a pattern. It follows a pattern. And that pattern always begins 6 months before you see the money. Most people miss it because they're looking at their bank account when they should be looking at their behavior. Let me show you what I mean. I tracked 47 people who went from average income to significant wealth over a 5-year period. Different industries, different ages, different starting points. But every single one of them showed the same behavioral shift approximately 6 months before their income exploded. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Here's what happens. 6 months before wealth multiplies, these people stop chasing. Not because they gave up, because they realize something that changes everything. Wealth doesn't come from more opportunities. It comes from better focus. And focus means killing 9 ideas to execute one properly. Most people do the opposite. They're running 3 side hustles, testing 5 business models, consuming content from 10 different gurus, and wondering why nothing comes. They think more equals more. It doesn't. More equals distraction. And distraction is why you're stuck. Here's the invisible shift. 6 months before their income jumped, every person I studied did the same thing. They picked one income stream and went all in. Not sort of in. All in. They stopped testing. Stopped pivoting. Stopped looking for the next better thing in. They committed to boring, repetitive execution on one focused bet. And that's when compounding started. Let me tell you about Marcus. At 29, he was doing okay. Freelance graphic designer making about $4,200 a month. Not bad. Not great. He was also trying to build a YouTube channel, testing dropshipping, learning about real estate, and reading every business book he could find. Sound familiar? He was busy, but he wasn't compounding in. Then something clicked. He looked at his income breakdown and realized 80% of his revenue came from one type of client. Small e-commerce brands that needed product page designs. The other 20% came from random projects he hated. So he made a decision that felt risky at the time. He fired every client that wasn't an e-commerce brand. He stopped posting on YouTube. He paused the dropshipping experiment. He committed to one thing, e-commerce design. That's it. First month after the shift, his income dropped to $3,800. He panicked, thought he made a mistake, but he stuck with it. Month 2, $4,100. Month 3, $4,600. Month 4, $5,200. Nothing crazy, just steady. Then month 6 hit. One of his clients referred him to another e-commerce brander, That brand referred him to 3 more. Suddenly he wasn't chasing clients. They were finding him. Month 6, $7,400. Month 9, $11,000. Month 12, $16,800. Same person. Same skills. Same skills. Different focus. Here's what actually happened. By going all in on one niche, Marcus became known for something specific. When someone needed e-commerce design, his name came up. That's positioning, came up. And positioning is what separates people who stay stuck at $4,000 a month from people who break $10,000, then $20,000 and more. Not because they worked harder, because they stopped splitting their attention. But here's the part that matters. The real shift happened 6 months before the money showed up. That's when he killed the distraction. That's when he committed to repetition over novelty. That's when he stopped consuming content about wealth and started executing one system repeatedly. The income didn't show up immediately. It never does. But the behavior change happened 6 months earlier. And that's the pattern. You see this everywhere once you know what to look for. Jeff Bezos didn't build Amazon by launching 10 companies. He committed to one, for years, through losses, through doubt, through people telling him it wouldn't work. Warren Buffett doesn't chase every investment. He waits for one perfect bet and goes all in. Every person who builds real wealth follows the same formula. Focus, repetition, compounding. Boring wins. Boring wins. Now let me show you what this looks like in your life. Go look at your calendar from the last 30 days. How many different income-generating activities are you juggling? If the answer is more than 2, you're not compounding. You're hoping. And hope is not a strategy. Here's what to do instead. First, identify your one. Look at where 80% of your results come from. Not where you spend 80% of your time. Where you get 80% of your results. That's your one. Everything else is distraction disguised as opportunity. Second, kill everything that's not your one. Not pause, not put on hold, kill. Delete, remove. Because as long as it's there, you'll keep splitting focus. And split focus means no compounding. Third, commit to 6 months of boring repetition. Same action, same niche, same audience, every single day. No pivots, no tests, no shiny objects. Just execution. Here's what your brain will do. After 2 months, you'll get bored. You'll see someone launch a new thing and think maybe you should try that instead. You'll start doubting your one. This is the test. Everyone faces it. The people who break through stay focused. The people who stay stuck chase the new thing. And 6 months later, the people who stayed focused look back and realize their income doubled while they weren't looking. Because compounding is invisible until it's not. Let me tell you what 6 months of focus actually creates. It creates reputation. When you do one thing repeatedly, people start associating you with that thing. It creates systems. When you repeat the same process, you find efficiencies you'd never see if you kept switching. It creates referrals. When people know exactly what you do, they know exactly who to send you. And it creates compounding. Every client you serve well leads to 2 more. Every piece of content you create builds on the last. Every skill you develop deepens with repetition. But none of that happens in month 1 or month 2. It starts showing up around month 4, and it explodes around month 6. That's the pattern. And the people who win are the people who trust the pattern long enough to see it play out. Here's what I want you to understand. Wealth multiplication isn't about working harder. You're already working hard. It's about focusing harder. It's about killing the good opportunities to protect the great one. It's about repetition over novelty. It's about compounding over chasing. And it starts 6 months before you see the money. So here's my question for you. What's your one? What's the thing that, if you went all in for 6 months, would change everything? And more importantly, what are you willing to kill to protect that focus? Drop your answer in the comments. Let's figure out what you should be doubling down on while everyone else is still distracted. Subscribe for more content that explains what actually creates wealth instead of selling you dreams. Because the dream is boring, it's focus, it's repetition. It's 6 months of the same thing while everyone else chases the next shiny object. But boring is how you win.